Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sick and Tired Pod. I'm your host, Mel, and I'm so glad to be here. This is a show where we have honest conversations with those who are chronically ill, disabled, and or neurodivergent. Today is an exciting one because I'm joined by my very first guest, Janiya Penny. Janiya is a sickle cell disease advocate, wellness content creator, and college student who is passionate about changing the conversation around chronic illness. Through sharing her lived experiences, she educates others about sickle cell disease, advocates for better understanding within healthcare and everyday life, and encourages people to care for both their physical and mental well-being. In today's conversation, we'll be talking about the importance of understanding and supporting people living with sickle cell, diving into why people with sickle cell are misunderstood or not taken seriously by healthcare providers, and the role of natural remedies to support overall health. So whether you're listening on your morning commute, lounging in the evening, taking a walk, cooking dinner, thanks for spending some time with us. Now, let's welcome Janiya to the pod. Have you ever done a podcast before?
No.
No? This is your
You're my
first
first.
one? Aw.
Yes, ma'am.
What made you reach out and, want to do it?
I ran across your page from a fellow Sickle Cell follower on my page, and I saw that you were new coming, so I'm like, oh my God, this is great opportunity.
Aw.
I'm not just now getting into my page. It's been up for a couple months, but I would like a little bit more exposure. So once I saw you, I saw the opportunity, I took it. I'm like, this is the opportunity for me to speak more out about what I have to speak about. I just saw it as an opportunity when I took it.
I'm kind of making opportunities for myself over here, so we're in it together, girl.
As you should.
So I just wanted to thank you for being here. I had to tell you though, yesterday you might have seen me lurking on your page. I was kind of just going through and liking a bunch of random things, but I wanted to check
I
out
haven't even been on it.
like what you've been up to or what you've been posting, what you've posted in the past. And I just want to say that you are an incredible human.
Oh,
Truly.
thank you so much.
You are. Like the things that you've put up, even if it's limited, the content is chef's kiss.
Yes, thank you so much. I try my best. It's so hard.
I'm sure with being sick and it being so unpredictable, and I mean, I relate. It took me forever to finally
Yes.
commit to this. I want to be consistent. I don't want to do it and then kind of drop off. It's hard, but when we can, we gotta.
Yes, you have to. You have to push through a lot. But it gets easier.
It does. There are days that I can barely get out of bed or my brain will barely function. I have MS. I've had
Okay.
MS for 12 years now. This year will be 12 years. It's been up and down. What gets to me, at least on a daily basis, is the fatigue. That really is hard to push through. You feel that too?
Yes. I'm feeling it right now. I
Are
really pushed
you?
through to even do this with you. Yes. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna cancel on her. We're still gonna do
Aw.
this and I can rest when I'm done. But we have to push for these type of opportunities. I think that's one of the hardest things that people don't understand. The fatigue, it puts us down. Well, me personally, major. And it's so hard
Yeah,
to push through
yeah.
sometimes.
And I saw everything that you do. You go to school, you work. I'm sure you have other responsibilities too. How do you balance it all? Do you have any? I mean, I'm sure a lot of it's listening to your
Well, that was a
body and kind of
question.
honoring it.
I'm
It
so sorry.
was, but that's cool. I can
Uh-huh.
restate it however many times you need.
I will say I've been balancing pretty well with the things that I put in my body more so I would say kind of just like staying ahead of the pain or staying ahead of the crisis. For instance, if I know that the weather is probably going to be bad when I wake up today, I make sure I'm drinking a beet juice if I can, a turmeric shot, taking medicine before the day even starts or before I can give the pain any room to come and bother me. So a lot of the times it is just staying ahead, drinking teas at night, taking all kind of shots, and then balancing it with school is really hard because you never really know when it comes to school and classes and especially work. A lot of times I'll wake up, I could literally be asleep and I just wake up and then like, okay, I'm down as soon as I wake up and I have to call out of work or I have to email my teacher, hey, I can't make it into this class. So balancing with school and work is probably the hardest. I'm still learning the balance. I'm still working on the balance with like teachers and managers really believing what I say. Having to get doctor's note all the time, like making sure I have appointments. So just in case this place wants a doctor's note, that place wants a doctor's note, and then I have to prove myself to so many people. So I'm still balancing that. But other than that, it's a work in progress, I think, around all areas,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to like relationships, dating, like hanging out with friends, that can get really hard. So I haven't really found a solid way to balance it yet, but it's still all a work in progress.
When were you diagnosed? When did this all come about? How did you get diagnosed? What were your symptoms? Tell me your story.
I was diagnosed, from what my mom said, I was diagnosed at 5 months old. Apparently, I guess as an infant, I was having some type of pains in my leg from the story that she told me. I was having some type of pain in my legs, and I would just always point to my leg, and I'm like, it hurts, it hurts. So once they did do the blood work on me, they diagnosed me with sickle cell. And from then on, it's just been a really big part of my life. Like I said, from school, from relationships, learning how to coexist in a room full of people that don't really understand what I have going on, having to explain myself all the time, or even there have been times where like I was in school when I was younger and I would get sick and I would be in the hospital for a couple days and I show back up to school and all my friends were like, oh, Janiya, like, where were you? You were gone. I'm like, I was in the hospital. I have sickle cell, and none of these kids, even when I got to high school, like nobody knew what sickle cell was. Everybody's like, what is that? And then I even had moments where I would tell my friends, oh, I have sickle, and they're like, oh, what is that? Like, ew, is that contagious? Like people would back up from me, and I'm like, it's not contagious. I can't touch you and you. And it's just like I dealt with a lot of immaturity growing up with it,
Yeah,
which is understandable, but I definitely feel like it's something that needs to be taught a lot more in schools and
absolutely.
hospitals. Like it needs a lot more awareness because growing up with it and having people look at me all type of funny ways, and I will have a lot of teachers judge me. For instance, when you just say, the feeling of fatigue, getting that growing up as a child, I didn't know that, I was having symptoms of fatigue. I didn't know my iron is probably low. I'm feeling tired. I'm just thinking I'm feeling tired. So I would put my head down in class, and teachers are like, no, you don't need to put your head down. If you're not sick, you either need to go home or you need to stay here and you need to do this.
It's a
And,
lot of
like just,
ignorance.
and it's just,
Yeah.
a lot of ignorance, a lot of judgment, even from adults. It was just very overwhelming, even still to this day.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Um, it must be
No,
also
you're fine.
very overwhelming, especially when you're a kid. How would you even formulate the words to tell a teacher or someone older than you or even a kid your age, I'm not making this up and this is what's happening? How would you try to explain that to someone?
Growing up as a kid, I think honestly, I never really
Or
had
did
to.
you like not
It's
even really understand it?
Yeah, at that age, I didn't really understand the significance of it, I don't think. Luckily, I did have my mom as a major support system. So my mom will always go to bat and make sure people knew about my chronic illness before, they could even try to, I mean, even though she would make it known in school, I would have like a 504 plan, IEP. She would make sure all of those things were in place. But then I still had my teachers who would want to pick just because I feel like anytime I had an altercation like that, I would give it to my mom, and my mom would handle it
That's
as a
good.
kid growing up. But then I think once I got to high school, navigating it during high school, I think that's when I got in the stage of like, I think it kind of pushed me to like a nonchalant state because it's like, even if I do explain what I have going on to you, you're not going to believe me. So I don't really care to understand. It got to the point where I was just like, if a teacher, looked at me some type of way when I said like, oh, I'm in pain, or can I go to the clinic? And a teacher would look at me crazy or like, oh, like you're not in pain. It got to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm numb to it. At this
Yeah.
point, are you going to send me home? Are you going to send me to the clinic or not? Because I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit here. And then it felt like an embarrassment thing too, because we're in front of the whole class and you're kind of calling me out saying that you don't believe my pain. And it's like, okay, send me to the clinic, send me home, call my mom, or just like anything, because
It's
you're
like
not
you're
going to sit
already
here
not
and
feeling
humiliate
well.
me. Like
And then that on top of it, it's just like a double whammy.
the stress, exactly. So,
For me, with my MS, stress is one of the biggest triggers, if not the biggest.
mhm.
And is that the same for you?
Yes, and that's what I was going to speak on too. I think for any chronic illness, no matter what it is, I think stress plays the biggest part in all of it, because you don't even really realize it until you get into the understanding age, I guess you would say, like more so teenage. I'm 22, so I didn't really start understanding that stress triggered my pain until the age of 19, I think. It's just like this whole time I'm stressing about certain things, not knowing that these things are putting me in the hospital. Like I'm stressing over this and it's causing me to have to go to the hospital. It's causing me pain and I'm not noticing any of that. I don't need to be stressing. I need to be laying down somewhere. You know, we all have stressful days.
I know, it's unavoidable. Just keep your
It's like
stress down.
chronic
Like, yeah,
illness or
totally.
not.
In this world, how?
For sure, chronic illness or not, everybody is stressing.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's just like make sure you know your stress levels. Keep people from around you who are going to stress you out.
When I used to work and go to school, it's a lot of just advocating for yourself and being like, this is what I need. I need to do this. Or even if it's with yourself, it can be hard, the pressures of the world to be like, this is what they expect of me, or this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I physically can't. I need to take care of
Mm-hmm.
my body in order to do the things. So I need to go to bed or whatever, like
Right.
be unstimulated right now so that I can do the thing.
You need a little isolation time sometimes,
Yeah,
for
but are your
sure.
teachers and your like managers understanding at this point?
My managers, they are understanding. Well, right now I'm doing work study with the school, because any job outside of the school that I've experienced, they were never understanding. I got fired from a job one time because of my sickle cell. But working with the school, I have a lot of people, like I have a lot of well, not bosses, but I have a lot of coworkers. My head boss, she understands. A lot of times, if I come in and she even sees me looking tired, she's like, Janiya, do you need to go home? She's very understanding to it. Now, professors, because I have different professors every semester, I do have to remind them over again, like, hey, I have this 504, hey, I have this IEP, I have these accommodations. A lot of times they're still not really understanding. They're still just like, okay, yeah, you have this. But I think they kind of compare it to like everybody has something going on. And it's like, yeah, everybody does have something going on. But my going on, like what I have going on is not to downplay anybody else's, like what they have. I don't want to downplay anybody else's experience or their issues, but I feel like with my issues, it's more so physical. If I can't, like my legs, I have like low key, I have like the bones of a 75-year-old. Like if I wake up and my bones don't want to like work with me, I can't really do anything about that. I have to lay in the bed. I'm not going to walk and limp to class. So a lot of them, they're like, no, oh no, you need to go get a doctor's note. I try my best to stay away from the hospital, but with that, staying away from the hospital is like, if I do call out, like not call out sick, but if I do like email my professor one morning and I'm like, hey, can't make it into class, I'm having a sickle cell crisis, they're like, you need paperwork. I have a doctor. My doctor has provided me with a note that I sent all of my professors, letting them know that I have sickle. But they're like, no, you need an emergency room slip. I need to know that you're actually in a crisis. And now it's forcing me to go to the emergency room. I already don't want to deal with the people at the emergency room. So now I have to deal with the emergency room just to get a note, just to pass the class. Professors, they don't care. They do not care, which can be understandable. We do have students that just want to get out of certain work, but I just feel like the accommodations, even like the 504, the P, all of it, it doesn't even really help. It's just something to have in place just to say you have it in place. It doesn't really support our case, especially when it comes to professors. It doesn't really seem like it's set in stone type of thing. It's just like, here you go. just to make you feel better.
Yeah, so it's like a
So
piece of paper that is supposed to help you, but it really doesn't do much.
no, it doesn't do much at all.
I'm so sorry. Like we said, life's hard enough, but these people who are supposed to take care of us and help
Mm-hmm.
us, they just make it more difficult.
Yes, drop the ball major.
Or what year are you?
This is my junior year now, so it's been pretty rough. I've had to take a couple classes over because I've probably missed an exam, and the teacher's like, no, you can't take the exam over. I don't care if you were sick or not. So then fail that exam, fail the class, take it over. There's nothing that I could really do about it but advocate for myself, but speak up and try to bring awareness to it. And I mean, I have my easy days and I also have my hard days, but like I said, I try to push through all the days.
I'm so proud of you. I just want to say
Yeah.
that. I'm
Thank you
really
so
proud
much.
of
I'm
you
proud of
and
you
like,
too, Queen.
aw, thank
Yes.
you. What I thought of before you said something and it made me think of you're too young to feel this way. Or
Mm-hmm.
like you're so young. Ageism is wild. I was diagnosed at your age, actually. I was
Mm-hmm.
22 when I was diagnosed with MS. And there's just this kind of global idea. You have to be old to be sick. And no, young people get sick
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yes, I even saw, well, not to throw off, but I saw a video on the internet the other day. There's this little girl. I think she was, I'm not sure what her condition was, but I think either way she wasn't able to walk or something like that. So her mom put her, I don't know, like when you go to the grocery store, you know, like they have the baskets where like you could sit down. So the little girl was in one of those and a man stopped her in the store and he's like, oh no, you can't be in this, you're playing. And he's like, oh, we have older people that come in and need this. And it's like, you don't have to be old just to be sick, just to be down. It's just so contradicting and judgmental.
Yeah.
They don't understand either how much stress they bring on our bodies, build up tension, so much trauma. And it's just
They
like,
make it harder. Like it's just,
they make
yeah,
it
and
so much
trauma,
harder.
the trauma on top of trauma, trauma,
Mm-hmm.
trauma. For
Yes,
me,
so
my
much built up
diagnosis was
trauma.
super traumatic. It's hilarious because going to a doctor or going to pick up my medications, I literally need to take a Klonopin just to calm down enough to see a doctor. I'm like, this
Just
is
to,
ironic.
yeah, just to
hmm
even speak to the doctor is like, whew.
I
Mm-hmm.
automatically feel my body tense up and get on the defense where it's like, I have
Mm-hmm.
to fight. I have to not physically, we're not doing that, but we have to fight for ourselves because these medical professionals just, I want to believe and I want to think that they mean well. And maybe it's the stress that they're under. There's so many things that
Mm-hmm.
could be. And then external factors. There's a lot going on. And I try to take that into account, but you can at least do the bare minimum, you
Right.
know? And believe me, that's all you need to do is believe me. I don't want to be here.
Or just for you to understand. I think that's what they don't get either. I definitely can feel both sides. I definitely feel like, yeah, there can be a lot going on in the medical field. They can have times where they're understaffed and they can be stressed. And I definitely understand that. But I still feel like the way you go about trying to treat me, yeah, you can be stressed. But at the end of the day, I'm here in the hospital. You get what I'm saying? I'm here down. Literally, there have been times where I was in the hospital, admitted into the hospital, and like even the techs walking in, like kind of slamming the doors, kind of like having attitudes, you know, they want to check my temperature, they're kind of rough. And it's like, yeah, you can't have a bad day. Like I said, we all have bad days, but at the end of the day, I feel like you came to work. I'm here in the hospital bed. I'm sick. I'm crying. I have all these things going on. I'm missing out on work. I'm missing out on money. You're here making money. So it's like, yeah, I understand the bad days, but I didn't do anything to you. Like,
Right.
I just want my treatment. You come in my room with good energy, leave the bad energy outside, and then when you walk back outside, then, you know, put those feelings back
Yeah.
on. But while you're dealing with
hmm
me, I'm already having to deal with my own energy, and having to carry your energy is just like, how am I supposed to get better in this hospital if you're treating me like I'm never going to get better? If anything, we're both going to just be sitting here for days
Yeah.
at a time. And it's just like, I
Yeah.
get it. But at the same time, we still just need more compassionate people and more considerate people in the health field because, in my opinion, it seems like it's just getting worse,
I
especially from
agree.
the doctors.
100%. I feel
They
like
make it no better.
I'm the one who walks in there and I do my own research. I tell them what I
Mm-hmm.
need, but then they get defensive because it's like, oh, I have
Yes.
the degree. Who are you? I'm like, I'm in my body. I live in my body. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you do exactly. And another thing too, I think they're used to dealing with other people who have like the same diseases as us. So even if you can have one bad patient, right? But don't treat me like I'm that bad. Just because you know that person is probably drug seeking doesn't mean
They
I'm
carry it
here drug
over. Yeah.
seeking. The thing is, this too, I'm 22 years old. My mom has so many stories of like when I was in pediatrics, so many things that happened. But I'm 22 years old. There was a time where I was in the hospital, pediatrics, 3 years old. The doctor had me on morphine around the clock as a 3 year old. Morphine around the clock. And then when I get to the age of 22, now that my dosage needs to be up, now that I'm, taking Dilaudid and things like that because I was on morphine at 3 years old, now I'm the drug seeker. And the doctor is the one who did, like, you do this to me. They do this to us. And then they try to look at us like we're the bad people. It's like, no, if you wouldn't have had me on morphine, I would have been good with Toradol. Like, like at that age, like, or even
Right.
like something
Right.
much lower, but you have me on morphine as like 3 years old. What do you think my tolerance is going to be right now as a 22
They like
year
set
old?
you up to fail, basically. They set you up.
That's exactly what it is. I will never forget my first time in adult care. It was absolutely terrible. It was absolutely terrible. That it made me never want to go back to the hospital again. My mom was like, "You can't let one bad experience do that to you, Janiya." But it was just like they looked at me. They're like, "No, you're not a little girl." I think I was, yeah, I was 18 at the time, and they did not look at me as a little girl. I was still in high school. They're like, "No, you're an adult and you're drug seeking, and we're not giving you no medicine." I had a doctor even kick me out of the hospital one time because he thought that I was drug seeking. I was in the ER. Yes, I was in the ER. I think it had been rain. I think this was around hurricane season. Actually, it had been raining, so it made sense that I was in a crisis. I go to the ER. I already had to wait at least an hour in the waiting room. So I finally get to the back. They come, they ask me what I need, what fits me. So at the time, I think I was still doing morphine. So I told him I just needed some morphine. Like, I just want to get better so I can go home. I don't even want to stay the night. And he's like, "Oh no, we're not going to give you morphine. We can't give you morphine." So I'm like, "Okay, well, can you at least like, do Toradol or something, keep me overnight because I don't want to go back home and I'm still sick and I have to come back." He's like, "We don't have no beds for you. You're not going to be able to stay here. You can't stay here. We're going to discharge you."
That's
Wait, but
terrible.
usually I'm able to, be admitted if I need to be admitted. He's like, "No, we're not going to keep you. The most we're going to give you is Toradol." And I was just like, and then my mom started speaking up for me. They don't like when my mom speaks up for me. They're like, "No." There's one time they kicked her out of the hospital when I was 18 because it's just, it's so much.
But
And
good
that's
for
what I
her.
mean by
I'm
like,
sure
like
she
that's,
was like, "This
they
is my child." Yeah. I mean, I
my
get
mom,
it.
she was so upset. I ended up discharging myself. I didn't want the medicine no more, no nothing. Y'all kick my mom out. Y'all, I don't know how y'all gonna do me if y'all kick my mom out. Like, y'all got me. So, like, it's just like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even they have bad experiences with patients. We have bad experiences with doctors. Just because I had a bad experience with another doctor doesn't mean I'm coming in the ER like, "Oh, all doctors are bad." No, so you shouldn't think all sickle cell patients are drug seekers because it's not okay. It's a stereotype. Traumaticness, it builds up. So much anxiety, so much tension.
These medications were made for a reason. And it's like, yes, there's probably more people who abuse them in incorrect ways than there are people who are prescribed them through a doctor. But they were made for these
Mm-hmm.
cases, for this level of pain. So
Right.
if you're not going to give the medication to you who's suffering, who else is qualified to get it? You know? So it's like they need
Who's
to
gonna
use
get it
their
if it's not us?
discretion. I know you wanted to talk about the natural remedies that you have been trying.
Yes, okay. So, like I said, from my first experience in adult healthcare, I kind of, it was to the point where I didn't want to go back. It's like no return for me. I don't want to deal with these doctors no more. It went from sunshine and rainbows on pediatric. Now they throwing me in the jungle. So I'm like, I don't want no more parts of it. So, me and my
Where
mom,
is
we
the
started
lie? I get
researching a
that.
lot of things. Yes. So we started researching a lot of things that helps with inflammation, blood flow, and I really got into beet juices and turmeric. There was one time, I think we were in Savannah, Georgia, It was really cold up there for Thanksgiving, and I ended up going into a crisis. Very random. I was feeling good one moment, and then all of a sudden I'm down. So I usually do only Tylenol over the counter. That's the only thing that I really take for my medicine. I mean, for my pain. So my mom's like, okay, we're gonna go to the store. We're gonna get you a turmeric shot. We're gonna get you some beet juice. You're gonna drink it. We're gonna see what it does for you. I think I had one beet drink and I had two turmeric shots. I kid you not, within 30 minutes, I was up and feeling much better. Like, I'm talking about, it was like, I was like, I know there's no way from just a beet juice and a turmeric shot. And I think I took maybe two Tylenols and I was up and I was good. Even with the weather still being cold, it still didn't really affect me. I was still good. So then after that, I started making them myself, getting turmerics, mixing all of it together because turmeric is really good for inflammation, which sickle cell patients deal with a lot. Inflammation in the arms, maybe in the legs, tailbone, and then blood flow with the beets. The beets really help with blood flow. So those simple things like that I got into, it really helped minimize whatever I had going on. Nowadays in the morning, I'll wake up, I have my own, like I make my own beet shot.
Having it work that quickly is whoa.
Yes, and that's the thing too. Care providers do not tell you about those type of things. Once I mentioned it to my doctor and I let her know, like, hey, I did this, and she's like, well, let's not try to depend on that. Like, you still need medicine. No, I need to depend on that actually, and I need to let go of these pills because the pills, yeah, they help with the pain, but they have so many side effects to them. It's like I think they could cause the fatigue sometimes too. Because even if I could be, like I said, like one, like I'll probably be out and I'll randomly go into a crisis and like, I take some Tylenol real quick. And all of a sudden I'm tired and I'm like, I really need to go lay down. But no, if I would have took me a beet juice or a turmeric shot,
It
I would
gives
have
you
been
the
okay.
energy and the pain
Yes,
relief. Yeah.
exactly. Pain, it gives you energy and it releases the pain. So I just feel like these are things that needs to be talked about more. Walking helps with the blood flow major. When I was in pediatrics, the doctors would tell me that I needed to like kind of walk around a little bit because we do like to stay in a bed. We do like to when you're sick, it kind of can be like a depression thing. I have this thing where like every time I get admitted into the hospital, I kind of go into bad depression and I hate to use the term depression, but it gets that bad. So I don't eat, I don't really speak to nobody. I kind of just sleep on and off on medicine.
Yeah.
They're like, you need to walk around, like get some exercise in, get your blood flow going. Walking has done significant things for me. I try to walk every morning or even in the evening if I can, but it does minimize like my pain crisis a lot. So I try to stick to the natural habits so I don't really have to turn to the doctors.
Yeah. I started walking regularly a year ago
Mm-hmm.
and it it has helped me both mentally because I deal with a lot of depression. It's helped me with that and it's helped me with the pain also. And just for me to feel more productive because when you have chronic illness, a lot of your time is spent at home and in bed and you don't have the energy to go out. But if you can go out and literally walk around the block for 10 minutes, it will do wonders just to even, like I said, make you feel like you did something productive in the
Yeah,
day.
even to yes, because I feel like the mental side is not really talked about either. I think it can send you into like a deep depression. There
Absolutely.
mental things that I feel like a lot of chronic illness patients deal with that is not recognized. And it's not fair. So like, we have a lot of questions, like, and we have a lot of concerns. It can reprogram your brain a lot. It's reprogrammed my brain a lot over the years with a lot of things. It really puts me down, like not
Yeah. I mean, just as humans, a completely healthy person needs connection. That's what we're made for. We're made for connection. There's this profound isolation when you're sick
mm-hmm.
because that's kind of sometimes your only choice. And I mean, virtual is great. Over COVID, there were virtual support groups and therapy finally became virtual. That's a whole story of mine. It's just different. Even being in a room with people, just sitting in a park and seeing people in real life, like that's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. I encourage it.
It is very much downplayed. Also, it is connections. Even I think that's why I made my page too, to try to get more of a community. Growing up, my mom has tried to get me into things, with other sickle cell patients, but growing up, it's kind of been like I've always been hiding it my whole life. Like I don't want the experiences I had. Like I told you, I've had people, like, ew, is that contagious? So I kind of held back telling people for as long as I could. But once I got older, I feel like now I yearn to have connections with other people that can relate to me. I like my friends. I like the community that I have, but none of them can relate to me on the level that you would be able to relate to
Right.
me. Even though you don't have sickle cell, we're both dealing with something chronic, and we're both having the same experiences with these healthcare providers, with probably workplace people and things like that. And it's like we can have more of a conversation and understanding
Mhm.
versus other people. Even though my mom, she raised me while I had sickle cell, she knows probably everything there is to know about it. But I still can't really connect with her
You
on the
need
level that
peers. Yeah, you
I.
need.
So
For
it's
sure.
like I yearn for that. Having friends who I can call, like, and getting advice from each other when we're dealing with different crises. Because there have been times where I've had crises in unordinary places, and I'm like, is this normal? I think my first time getting a crisis in my tailbone, I'm like, why would I have pain right here? It's so random.
I deeply relate to that because when my body started freaking out, it felt literally like my head wasn't connected to my body. I didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no one who could relate. I was like, is this normal? Is this a part of it? What's happening to
Yeah.
my body? It's like all these new symptoms and these new pains, and I've never felt this before. Is this okay?
Yes, yes. It's good to have people that you can connect with, talk to, like, hey, is this normal? Have you had this before?
Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap up?
No. You'll probably have to have me back. I have a lot to talk.
I would love to have you back. You've been amazing. However, I do want to ask you a question. Have you ever seen the show The Pit on HBO?
No, I've been meaning to watch it. My brother has. He's
You need
talked.
to watch it because there's an episode where a patient comes into their ED with exactly what you're saying. She's in this immense full body pain and they
Mm-hmm,
think she's drug seeking. And there were a bunch of doctors, whoever, surrounding her bed as she came in.
mm-hmm,
And they were all, give her like the least amount of pain medication you can. And then there was this one doctor who came in. The patient was like, I have sickle cell. And she was
mm-hmm.
just like, give her morphine, whatever she needs, just give it to her. So I would recommend watching that.
Yes, I would like to add this in too. Now that you speak on it, I definitely do feel like with our pain being invisible, it makes it so much harder because you could be in pain and you can't physically see me in pain. Like my arm isn't broken, so it's like you don't really see the pain. You just see me crying. And even if you are crying, balled over, there's been so many times where I've been waiting in the emergency room for at least 45 minutes just to get in the back. And I'm talking about I could be shaking. Like I'm shaking my legs, I'm crying. They see you in the emergency room and they don't acknowledge you. You could be balled over, crying, and they're still like, no, she's not in pain. She just wants drugs. You think I would really put on a performance like this to just get some drugs? But that's a big thing too. It's like they can't see our pain, so they don't believe us. But that's not true either because they can see when we're in the sickle cell crisis. If they get blood work, they can see that our cells are actively fighting. You can literally see, I've had doctors where they're like, oh yeah, we can see that you're in an active crisis just from my blood work. So all these doctors like, oh, we can't
It's
see the
true.
pain, so hard to believe. No, you can't see
Like,
the
take
pain. You
my blood, you'll
cannot.
see it.
Like, and the thing is with sickle cell patients too, they're always trying to take our blood. They're always trying to take our
Them
blood. And
vampires.
I hate it. Like you could be in the hospital, they're waking you up 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get blood. I'm like, respectfully, no, let me go back to sleep.
If anyone needs support, who has sickle cell, who was just diagnosed with sickle cell, who are looking for some alternatives, I would highly encourage following Janiya on Instagram, Pretty Penny
Yes.
Girls. She's amazing. I really hope she comes back. I'm so glad I got to meet you and talk, and I'm always here.
Yeah, I'm honored to be your first guest. More to come. Many more to come.
All right,
Yes.
Janiya, you take care, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Alrighty. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Bye bye.